The recent comments from the podcast and press conference have set Detroit on fire, and that's no exaggeration. On one hand, David Montgomery dropped a statement about Gibbs that made the entire NFL stop and take notice. On the other, Dan Campbell revealed some concerning news that might force the Lions to go after a big-name player in the coming hours. Things are moving fast, and it's starting to look like major changes are on the way. If you're a big Lions fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Let's get into the video. The Lions have a backfield that's not just dangerous, it's downright terrifying for the rest of the league. Since 2023, Gibbs and David Montgomery have been wreaking havoc as one of the NFL's most electric 1-2 punches. Nicknamed Sonic and Knuckles, these two have powered Detroit to back-to-back NFC North crowns and even grabbed a couple playoff wins. And the scariest part? They're just getting started. Last season, Gibbs officially took the reins as RB1, especially after Montgomery missed the final 3 regular season games with a torn MCL. Gibbs didn't just hold down the fort, he lit it on fire. The dude was straight up electric, leading the Lions in rushing in 10 games and finishing with a monster 1,412 rushing yards and a league-leading 16 touchdowns as Detroit stormed to a 15-2 record. Montgomery still had a rock-solid year of his own, racking up 775 yards and 12 touchdowns in 14 games, but he knows exactly what kind of monster he's sharing the backfield with. The two recently chopped it up on the Pivot podcast, talking shop about the Lions' offense, their mindset heading into 2025, and of course the energy Dan Campbell brings every single day. That's where Montgomery dropped a line that should send shivers down every defensive coordinator's spine. Jameer is, if not now, will be the best running back in the league. And honestly, that doesn't feel like a hot take. Heading into year 3, Gibbs already has over 2,000 rushing yards and 26 total touchdowns on his resume. Last season, he finished 5th in the league in rushing behind some serious names: Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. He's already breathing down their necks, and as the older guys like Henry and Saquon start to slow down, Gibbs is just revving up. Sure, Bijan might be his biggest competition moving forward. They were part of the same draft class in 2023, with Robinson going number 8 to Atlanta and Gibbs right behind him. If both of these guys stay healthy, we could be watching the next great RB rivalry for the next decade. But while the run game is heating up, the defense just got a piece of news nobody wanted, and it dropped just hours ago. Well, this ain't the update Lions fans wanted to hear heading into the final stretch before the season opener. Head coach Dan Campbell dropped some not-so-great news Thursday. Josh Paschal, one of Detroit's key rotational edge rushers, is probably not making it back as soon as hoped. Initially, the plan was to have him back on the field by September, maybe even eyeing Week 1 against the Packers. But now, that window's closing fast. Paschal's been chilling on the active non-football injury list since last month, and it looks like he's staying there a bit longer. That leaves Detroit's pass rush depth looking mighty thin behind Aiden Hutchinson, especially now that it's sounding more and more likely Paschal will get hit with an NFI designation once again before the season kicks off. Look, the Lions are lucky Hutch is healthy and locked in. Marcus Davenport's also turning heads during camp, which is a nice bonus. But behind those two, it's pretty barren. And this Paschal update is definitely going to crank up the volume on the calls to bring back a familiar face: Zadarius Smith. Smith came in late last season after Hutchinson's broken leg and made an immediate impact. A total shot of adrenaline for the pass rush. He's no spring chicken, but the guy brought veteran savvy and consistent heat off the edge. He didn't miss a single game, and with the current state of Detroit's edge depth, no offense to Isaac Ukwu, but this is a big ask, bringing back Smith feels like a no-brainer. Sure, there are big names floating out there like Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson reportedly being shopped around, but let's get real. Trading for one of them would mean coughing up a huge package and throwing down massive extension money. Detroit hasn't even locked in Hutchinson long-term yet. It just doesn't fit the Lions' current vibe, which is all about building from within, maintaining chemistry, and avoiding splashy, cap-breaking moves. Gibbs is becoming a star right before our eyes, but without Paschal, That defensive rotation is looking shaky. Bringing Zadarius back could be a lifeline. Subscribe to the channel to stay on top of everything happening in Detroit.